What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason and Joe here, and we are reviewing the new Gaz Coombes record called Turn the Car Around. Gaz Coombes, of course, was the lead singer of Supergrass, a band that both of us like a lot, Cram as well. This is his fourth solo album. I've enjoyed pretty much all of his solo work so far, although none of it has lived up to Supergrass thus far for me. So I was definitely interested to check this one out, as I always am. How you feeling about Turn the Car Around?
Well, I'm with you. Obviously, we love Supergrass. People still talk about how much we love Supergrass, and we were just all over them and way too high ratings. But no, Supergrass is great. One of the best bands of the late '90s, 2000s. And I've never really gotten into Gaz's solo stuff. I've listened to Matador and World's Strongest Man, and they were fine, but it's tough. Like they didn't feel like the music didn't quite live up to like the expectation you have for, the lead singer of one of your favorite bands going solo. And so it kind of just went in one ear and out the other. But I do think this is his strongest album, at least for me. I think musically, it's just a little more interesting, a little more full, a little more, almost closer to the Supergrass sound. It's not on the same level and it's not quite the same thing, but I think it has some of like the same beats and some of the strengths and the hooks and the melodies that I didn't get from his last two solo albums. So I like this one a good bit, as Cramser would say.
Yeah, so his solo career is interesting. I've enjoyed the records, but they are not at all what you would expect from anybody in Supergrass. A lot moodier, more electronic elements. At times feels like he's trying to be Radiohead on his solo records a lot, even I think singing like Tom York at times. And this isn't not that. I think he's still kind of doing that, but it seems a lot more seamless and like integrated into who he is. And it also with this one, it feels a little more seamless, a little more integrated into who he is. It doesn't feel like he's trying so hard, maybe to be like a critical darling or something, which is kind of how I felt about some of the other stuff. Like Supergrass maybe weren't the most critically acclaimed band in the world, and maybe now he was like aiming for that with his solo work. But this feels pretty natural. The songs are good. I think the production's really good on it. It was produced by Ian Davenport. This is the third record he's done with Gaz. He's done a bunch of other cool stuff as well. So yeah, I thought it was really good. I think there are songs in his catalog that I like better. There's a handful of tracks on Matador that I love, but this might be the most solid front to back of his solo records so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember. I didn't go back and listen to Matador or anything, but I hear some Radiohead here, sure. Don't Say It's Over and Overnight Trains maybe have a little bit of like that 90s Radiohead feel, but it also has plenty of Supergrass, especially in the final track. I think Dance On is probably the closest to something you'd expect from Supergrass. More of like their moodier era, Road to Ruin kind of thing. I also feel a little bit of like maybe The Car from Arctic Monkeys. It's got some of those like big lush arrangements. I even get a little of Queens of the Stone Age for some reason creeping in on Long Live the Strange. It's got like half of the main riff of No One Knows. And then Feel Loop, Lizard's Dream. Got some, I don't know, maybe the backing vocals give me a little bit of like the Queens of the Stone Age, Josh Homme vibe. But I mean, some really good songs. Overnight Trains, Don't Say It's Over. Feel Loop has some great dissonant guitar, some nice strong bass lines. I think everything sounds fantastic on this album. Really well produced, really well played. There's some really great acoustic guitar all over the place. And it's big and it's layered, and there's lots of electric and lots of acoustic kind of blending together. Some electronic elements that don't overwhelm in any way. And some nice, I think, banjo maybe on Turn the Car Around. It's got a little almost Americana flavor. So I do think it's a good, strong album. It doesn't set the world on fire or anything like that, but I think it's a really good example of what a songwriter and a performer like Gaz Coombes can do, just when he's, in the groove and feeling good and writing good songs. So 4-star definite for me for Turn the Car Around.
I too wrote that it would probably draw comparisons to the two most recent Arctic Monkeys records because of that kind of lushness. It's very sonically expansive. But I think there are moments on this record that serve as a good contrast to that, where like on Feel Loop, you've got those really cool guitars just like piercing through, some great like claustrophobic lead work. Tons of great guitars, sounds all over the record. The title track has a really killer solo on it. The acoustic guitars sound great on this record. Not the only things. Sounds kind of like it would fit on a moon-shaped pole or something, the way the acoustics sound. This Love reminds me a bit of Roxy Music, especially the chorus. He comes in sounding a little bit like Brian Ferry on there. That track has some really great bass work on it. And yeah, the closer, Dance On, just this big sweeping piano ballad. This Love and that track, I think both sound a little bit like they could be on a Supergrass record. I don't know, it just feels really like a complete statement. Maybe the first record of his that's felt like a complete, like really well crafted. Everything's really well considered. It's well sequenced and just like really well put together, where some of his other ones had like great moments, but never fully came together. So my first listen to this, I was like on the fence between a 3.5 and a 4. Got to the last track, Dance On, and really, really loved it. So I gave it the 4. Then going back and listening to some of these tracks, I think it's already growing on me some. So I think it's at a pretty solid 4 stars now as well for me.
Feels like he wanted to show off, what he could do in a full album. I don't know, maybe he's trying to get back into like the Supergrass mode, where it's a little more for the people, a little more aiming to be popular. And obviously he still has plenty left to give outside of Supergrass, and it's nice to see that coming out.
Should be mentioned too, one of my favorite singers ever, and his voice has not lost a scent to it. It sounds great still. So let us know if you've checked this out, what you think of it. Drop it down in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not yet done so, hit the bell for notifications, and check the video description for links to our website, Patreon, social media, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.